right, this is Good Morning Nigeria, and for our second topic, security is one conversation on everyone's lips today.
Well, from bandit attacks to insurgency and kidnappings, many parts of the country are living with a sense of vulnerability.
It's a reality that keeps reigniting conversations, and recent one organized by religious leaders brought together stakeholders to examine the relationship between peace, security, and socio-economic development.
So today we highlight the possibilities in mutual understanding through peaceful coexistence. Now this is the focus of our second conversation today as we discuss building a secure nation for sustainable development.
All right, so joining us here in the studio is Dr. Abubakar Abdul Salam Babangwale. Babangwale?
Yes.
Yes. Babangwale is Director of Seminars and Conferences of GBWIS. We're very glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Good morning, and we're very glad to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Victor, if you allow me to start.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let me just background, because, when we are talking about building national security, I want to go back, and I'm happy you are a doctor. Before the Westphalian Treaty of 1648, that really shaped the way nation states conceived, national security. Before then, it used to be military might. Nations were amassing, stockpiling arms, and that determined, the quantum of weapons you gathered determined how secure, you were, until Westphalia Treaty came and changed the concept of sovereignty. So today, the UN definition of security has gone beyond military might to include human security. And, it describes it as threats to people's survival, livelihood, and dignity, and all that. So I would like you to start by, enlightening us when we talk of national security, from the perspective, let's say, of your understanding. What are we talking about? So that every Nigerian will understand it when we say we are building in national security.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, wa sallallahu sallam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Amma ba'd. So when we are talking of national security, we are talking of a very important and vital issue which concerns almost everybody, not a government or a particular institutions. From a religious perspective, religion considers security as a backbone of the existence of the human being, and also the responsibility of providing the national security has been vested not only on the leaders or a particular institution, as I have said earlier, but it is a collective effort that has to be, everybody or every institution has to give his own or its own contribution. So it has been discussed in various discourse of Islamic in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is why Jama'at Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamat Sunnah, being an Islamic organization or the greatest Islamic organization, put the issue of the security in its main issues that it has been considered as one of the issues that should be presented and addressed in all in its activities.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Babangwale. Now let's introduce our second guest, who is joining us from Katsina via Zoom. And I'm happy to introduce Dr. Ibrahim Abba Katsina, a retired ADG-SS and Senior Security Advisor to the Nigeria Governors Forum and Security Consultant on Peace Building. He is also a Fellow of Galilee International Institute for National Security Studies and has served as Security Advisor to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, served as Security Advisor to the Katsina State Government, among many others. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, let me ask, from your security, which is really indeed deep and, cross-cutting, from your experience, what are the biggest issues with our security that we are getting wrong?
Actually, thank you for the opportunity. This is what we call a whole of society approach, because government alone cannot handle national security. But if it partners with non-state actors and institutions like the religious institutions, we get what we want, and it's then Nigeria will stabilize. You see, this approach by the Jamaatul Izalatul Bid'a wa Iqamatus Sunnah in partnership with the World Muslim Congress is something that is long overdue, because security
We hope to go back to Dr. Katsina once the connection is clear. But let's come back here again, to Doctor here. And I like, because you were also at the religious conference, Jibril's conference yesterday, yes, where the issue of peace was really talked about. And I'm just trying to get out a quote from the Quran about what peace it's all about. It says peace. Whoever kills a soul, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely, and whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. That's Quran 5:32. Yes. I'm sure you know the verse.
Yes.
And so it talks about preserving human life, not just about territory and all that. At what point do you think religious leaders ought to abide by this, verse of the Quran? Because we so far we've seen a lot of people, both Muslim and Christians, all saying all sort of things that are quite incisive and not going the direction that we want if we are going to build national security. Yes. So at what point do you think that we are deviating from this message?
Yes, okay. So the verse you have just quoted in Surah Al-Ma'idah was about so many other patterns where human beings are also enjoined to take precautions, not even how to, it has not even given the remedy after the insecurity has happened, but has given the measures that has to be taken before the insecurity happens, by maintaining the peaceful coexistence, and also by considering the diversity, cultural and religious diversity, and also ethnic diversity, not as a source of conflict which may lead to the insecurity, but as an opportunity of enrichment and also mutual understanding and respect. If there is respect of humanity, there will be no insecurity. If there is a mutual understanding, there will be no security. And also, Islam has also warned the entire mankind on the consequences of the insecurity, and also has cited so many examples of the peaceful environment and secured environment like Mecca.
Sorry, I don't want you to deviate. I want you to talk about the two things. Whoever kills a soul, it's as if that person has slain
the
entire mankind. And whoever saves one, saved mankind. Within the context of your messaging, what will constitute killing a soul and saving mankind?
Okay, mankind are created to build the world. So removing one mankind may amount to the removing of the existence of the entire mankind. So that is why we are here enjoined to continue developing the idea of providing security, so that no life will be just taken without justifiable reason.
Is killing a soul merely only when one shoots and kills and stabs and all that? What about the words that we speak, the things that we say with our mouth?
Okay, so the hate speech and also the violence may also amount to issues that may lead to this kind of, may lead to the killings, that is actual killings, and it has been addressed in that previous verse. So that is that.
Dr. Obangwale, just a moment before I get back to Dr. Katsina. Nigeria has held, countless conferences on peace, on peaceful coexistence. Why is it that this has not managed to amount to security at the community level?
You said peace has not what?
Why has this not amounted to security at the community level, in spite of all the conferences and seminars on peace, on security, on peaceful coexistence, and all whatnot?
Okay, so the problem is that most of the communiques and the resolutions that are there in the conferences and other gatherings are not put into practice. Sometimes are only theories. So when we try to actualize or put into practice what we have reached in the resolutions and the communiques, so I'm very sure that it will go a long way in reducing the insecurities we are seeing and addressing
so for now it's
violence that affecting the social coexistence and peace.
For now, it's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to Dr. Katsina, who we got to earlier on. But perhaps you would just like to round off your thoughts. I had asked what we are getting wrong in terms of our security, and I'm trying to draw from your experience what Nigeria is getting wrong that makes the insecurity looking rather perennial.
The problems we're facing are community-based, and it requires a whole of society, a whole of government approach. And that is what this organization has started doing. You know, the moment you don't carry people along, you cannot solve all the problems we are facing. Now that the Islamic religious organization has started doing this, it's a challenge for all of us to involve non-state actors in managing security issues that are affecting us. Because initially, most of the conferences, most of the seminars that were held before were done by the government. I think this is the first time a religious organization has tried to bring everybody together in what we call a whole of society, a whole of government approach in addressing our security concerns. And being a member of the organizing committee to this conference, I've seen something that is so unique. Everybody is being carried along, the religious organizations, in spite of their sects and what have you, and even those that are not Muslims have been carried along in order to understand our diversity and use it as a stepping stone towards addressing our problems. Because God that has created us knew our differences, and that's why He created us deliberately in order to use our intellect to solve these problems. So in security management aspect, the approach now has shown to us that Nigeria is transiting, and gradually, I am sure at the end of this conference, the communique, as my friend Dr. Aya has said, will be followed because there will be a monitoring and evaluation committee that will ensure that all the measures that are adopted, all the resolutions were followed. And I'm sure if the government will begin to use religious institutions and other non-state actors in addressing our societal concerns, most of our problems will be solved. Because the issues we are facing are issues that are local. And these people that are gathered, they are from all callings, all parts of the country, and we are challenged to discuss among ourselves what are our problems, why can't we solve our problems? And everybody spoke openly, freely. In fact, what the national chairman of the APC has said has made many people to realize that, yes, we are from the same background, And what we need to do is to understand our differences and use them in order to build our future. Religious difference doesn't mean that we should be fighting each other. Ethnic difference doesn't mean we should fight each other. Countries like America and other countries in Europe that have various diversities use those diversities to move forward. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, we capitalize on them. I am Hausa, I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm Muslim, I'm Soso, I'm Christian. So now that we have come together to address these concerns, I think what the government should do is to ensure that the outcome of this conference is utilized effectively. And other religious organizations also should take a step forward and learn from what this Isala religious organization has done in order to be organizing this type of conferences, build partnership so that our nation can move forward. Because based on my background, I am hopeful that the outcome of this conference has shown to us that Nigeria can move forward. And in fact, it's an answered prayer. People have been praying that may God intervene and show us the way out. Now that God has intervened, religious leaders have come together, various ethnic nationalities have come together, discuss our common problems. I'm sure Nigeria is about to transit out of its current security quagmire. Because what we failed to realize initially is that we should evolve a whole of society, a whole of government approach in order to solve our problems. And that's what this conference has shown to us. That's my take on it.
Katsina, thank you. And it's good to see you. You're not in the studio with us. But let me ask you, maybe two related questions. What happens when, a cleric uses his or her authority of faith, to disparage other citizens? And at what point does religious expression cross the line into hate speech and incitement?
See, we should begin to regulate religious conduct and even activities of religious leaders. The fact that you are a religious leader doesn't mean you have the right to mount the podium and say whatever you like. There should be regulations. People that create hate speech and whatever should be sanctioned. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't show example, people have now used social media and whatever and hide under the cover of religion to be causing divisions. The essence of religion is for development. That's it. You should not use the cover of being a religious leader or a religious cleric to incite disaffection, to incite hate. We shouldn't allow it. Nigeria should go beyond that. Any country, even our neighbors here, Niger Republic, Benin, and what have you, they don't tolerate that. But it's only in Nigeria that if you're a religious leader, you have the immunity to say whatever you like, to cause problem, and the government will just look at you. No, we shouldn't allow it. Religion is meant for harmony. So I think what we should do is the government should ensure that there are guidelines even before you go to church or your mosque and preach or open your mosque or open your church. You should be licensed. But in Nigeria, anybody can open place of worship. The fact that you have freedom of religion doesn't mean you can do anything and say anything. No. Religion is meant to regulate you. It's meant to guide you. It's meant to fashion you. And the essence of government is to provide the basis for everybody to do his own religion without let or hindrance. And even the message of the president to the conference, that was what it was emphasizing. So I think why we're getting it wrong is there are no sanctions. People can mount the podium and say whatever they like and hide under the cover of religion. No, I think the government should not tolerate that any longer. Anybody who causes disaffection will have all these laws that can take care of that. People should be sanctioned so that it should serve as a lesson to others. But we should not tolerate incitement. We should not tolerate anything that creates hate and disaffection. And this seminar that was done this week has shown to us that we need to tolerate each other. Your religion is to you, my religion is to me. The essence of our togetherness is to see how we can bring development. Nobody is superior to other. It is only God knows who is superior. And that's left for God to judge. But for everybody to sit up and say, because I'm a religious leader, I can disparage that person and that religion, it is time we stop that now. And I think the essence of this conference is to provide the basis for Nigerians to come together, open up, bring up issues that divide us. Let us address them. Bring up issues that can unite us. Let us put them forward and pursue them. And I think the government to come out of our security challenges. And if we adopt the outcome of the seminar, I'm sure, and I think we should add to it that there should be proper regulation of religious activities. Freedom of religion doesn't mean freedom of hate speech. Doesn't mean freedom to do whatever you like. You know, the freedom of religion is you should go to your mosque, go to your church, and do what your God asks you to do. When you come out, let us relate effectively as brothers and sisters. So I think my take is simple. There should be proper regulation of religious conduct, religious activities, and utterances under the cover of religion for us to move to the next level for our country to stabilize. But the moment we continue to allow people talk anyhow without sanctions, it means we're encouraging others to emulate and say whatever they like. It is high time that the government should control the way religious clerics mount the podium and talk anyhow. And this conference has shown us that, look, we can put our heads together, address our concerns, and promote issues that unite us. We are not like this before. But now people just, because they say we're in democracy, they can do whatever. No, democracy doesn't mean that. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom to say anything.
All right.
So there should be proper, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Katsina. Now, I'm just wondering, I mean, valid points he's made there. But I'm asking, you know, Nigeria's insecurity is also fueled by poverty, by unemployment,
Yes.
by weak opportunities. So should religious leaders be doing much more than preaching to address these conditions?
Yes, sir. So thank you very much for what my mentor, Sheikh Ibrahim, has just said. He has left no stone untouched and has, in a nutshell, summarized what the conference affirmed. And also there is a declaration that has been released immediately after our conference, which the declaration points have answered all the questions have been asked here, including the very question you have asked. Among the points that the declaration affirmed is that the sustainable development is inseparable from peace, security and instability, and also religious and educational institutions have very important role in promoting tolerance, coexistence and respect for diversity. And also youth and women should be empowered to contribute to peace building and responsible citizenship. So the religious leaders are duty bound to promote this point in their pulpit and also in their sermons and also in their religious narratives, to preach government and also to preach the citizens in abiding by all these things that have been released or reached to. By doing this, I'm very sure that religious leaders would discharge their responsibility and peace will also reign.
So moving forward in 60 seconds, beyond the communique that you have reached, and what's the next step? How do you hope to, communicate this, to message this, so that it gets to, the real people who should hear it?
So definitely there must be a framework, and also there must be aftermath of the conference. There is going to be a committee that will be monitoring and evaluating the outcome of the conference. By doing this, I'm very sure that everything will go in line.
All right, Victor.
That reminds me, in fact, after asking that question, I just thought of it. Only 2 days ago, the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion was having a conference, a summit, the third in the series on health and planning to mobilize ₦1 billion to push
Health insurance.
that agenda, So it's all part of it, and I think we could do a bit more in addition to curbing what we say as religious leaders. But let me thank very sincerely Dr. Ibrahim Ahmed Katsina, who is a retired Assistant Director General of the State Security Service, among many other casts. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your perspectives on the program.
Thank you so much.
All right. Let me also thank Dr. Abubakar Abdul Salam Babangwale, Director of Seminars and Conferences, GBWIS. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very
We
much. You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
All right, and that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next week by God's grace, inshallah. I am Claire Adilabu Abdulrazak.
All right, and I'm Victor, as I'll see you in a matter of hours. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.